This is Baruch here, and we're going to do another shir. I want to do another shir on the nesiira and Rosh Hashanah as the time is coming close to Rosh Hashanah. This is the 22nd day of Elul, and you could see that this is Sunday, and we're really, real close. Is that over here? We're going to start over here on number Lamed Daled, and we bring it down where you can see it. It says V'hine b'yom rishon the Rosh Hashanah, so that's we understand there are 2 days, right? Kala gevurot shehem keser shelo. So all the gevurot, they're in the keser of Zer Anpin. Remember, Zer Anpin has, now he's telling us that Zer Anpin has 10 spheros, and each one of the spheros are gevurot. Now he says all the gevurot, so whatever that means. Ad siyum kol teferes shebo, until you go through the entire teferes up to the nai, that is the netzach hod yesod. The whole body of Zer Anpin, all of the gevuros that are in those spheros transferred to the nook. Ninasro, that part is removed from Zer Anpin. Minitene alecho bekeser shabo, and all of this goes into her keser. Ha'omad ba'achrei chetzi hatachton deferes shabo, where she stands really from his middle point, his bottom half. That's really where she stands. So everything up all the way from his head, all the way down to, in other words, she says his chest. He's a head taller than she is. All that's in his head, all the way down through his entire body, is going to be transferred over to her because she stands really behind his body. Spheres kachbad chagat, kesechach babin das, chesed gevurot teferes. Ein ha-shefa de'ima yochola lihispatcha sham begilui, but the gevura that's coming from Ima cannot spread yochola lihishpate there in an open way. Machmas masach ha-yisod de'ima, because there's a masach, there's a screen over the yisod of Ima. V'lechein hu shefa sason, so therefore the shefa has to be like a sealed shefa, he says. But when you go to the lower half of Zer Anpin, Shasham Omdim Spiras Nai, which is where the Nai of Zer Anpin, Mispashet Sham Shefa Magula, there you see the Shefa is in a very open and revealed way. Balkain and the Gevuras Kashin Kolkar, so therefore the Gevuras that we find as we're going down the line are not so strict. Bechetzia Tachton in his lower half. He said, "B'yom Rishon the Rosh Hashanah ninasra b'kol the gevuros the mitzad ima." So all of the gevuros from the side of Ima are removed on the first day of Rosh Hashanah. Shebechetzia elyon dezah, but only in the upper half. Mechakeser shalo ad siyam teferes. So in other words, from the top of his head down to the end of his body. Nitnin bekeser denuk. All of that is put into the keser denuk. Now, really, what he means with the chazal lamal. So that includes the kachbad, however you count that, and the and the chagat. V'nimseki b'yom rishon shal Rosh Hashanah, so it comes out on the first day of Rosh Hashanah. Yotzim kol la'ach shal adinim animsoi b'chetzei elyon shal Zer Anpin. So all of the backside of the dinim that are found in the upper half of Zer Anpin. Shasham nimsach shefa chasasim de Ima. That's where you find this closed up shefa that's coming from Ima. And then nasrech betoch Zer Anpin v'niknesum benuk, and they actually leave Zer Anpin, as we had said before, and they go into the nook. Call osem a gevur shebechetzia elya de Zer Anpin. So therefore, all of those gevuros from the upper half of Zer Anpin, nitnu b'self spheres of keser the nook. They're all placed into the sphere of the keser of the nook. So he said, nesiira rak b'spheres of keser. So therefore, we say that all that's happening here is that it's all coming from keser. He made parts of nook omedet ba'achrei, parts of Zer Anpin. Now we said this several times. Kasher kumasa megas ragat chetzi kum Zer Anpin. Her whole height only reaches to the chaz of Zer Anpin. Because her keser is standing on the back of his lower half. That is the lower half of his body, which is from the chaz of the mata. And then all the rest of the spheros atachtonos that are below her Omdos connected achrei nai the za. They're all going to be opposite the netzachol yisod of za. So the keser part, remember she's short. So that means that everything from his keser down to where her keser is going to be called keser, and it's going to go into her to build her keser. But now the rest of the 9 spheros of the nukva below keser are all going to be opposite the nai of zeranpin. Menimsiki called the gevurot and himself a bespheros kachbad chagad shebechetza elnya de zeranpin. Neitana biyom rishon the Rosh Hashanah. Now they're placed on the first day of Rosh Hashanah the kesed the nuk, inside of the crown of the nuk. Shom bebechetza chatachtam to the Feres de Zah, which is from again once from the lower half down, which is from the chest downward. Bashar Gavuras and himself a spheres nai the Zah, but now all the rest of the spheres are lined up with the nai the zeranpin. Adayin lo nidnasru bezeranpin. They're still not removed from zeranpin. Via Amor, so according to, or following along with what we're saying here, Nimsa Shibiyoma Rishon the Rosh Hashanah, Naasach and the Nesiira Esel Zer Anpin, that on the first day you see that the nesiira takes place. It's telling you what happens on the first day of Rosh Hashanah. B'Shabbat Sfiro Sechel Chol Yonis Kach Bar Chagat. So these are the spheres, the upper spheros, Keser Chochmah Bina Das, Chesed Gevurot Tiferes. In other words, it's from the shoulders upward, or including the arms, let's say, and upwards. Because all of those gevuros are given over to the nuk. But if you look at it from what's coming out of Zeranpin, and it's all from the Keter all the way down to his chest, but all of this is only going one place. It's going into her Keter. Nasra, the only part of her that is going to be removed is going to be her Keser El Yonah. Excuse me. Lo Nasra El Sfira Achaz El Yonah. Biyosu Shehis Sfira Keser. So on her very highest level is the only place that's going to be removed. So since only the gevuros of the Keser Dezad that's went in, V'yom Sheni the Rosh Hashanah Niknasim Begevurah Shel Chabad Chagat Zeranpin, and so the second day, what's going to come in is that we're going to be moving into Zeranpin the mochin of the gevuros that are found in these 6 spheros of Zeranpin, which is his head, the Chabad, and the Chagat, and his arms, the Zeranpin. Now previously, we moved. Let me just read it again. V'yom Sheni the Rosh Hashanah Niknasim Begevurah Shel Chabad Chagat Dezah. So that is now going to be entering into the nukva, the spheres of Chochmah, the nuk, and they're going to go. All of those are going to go into the Chochmah of nuk. So now, the first days of first 2 days of Rosh Hashanah, we see that the Chochmah, the Keser, and the Chochmah are received all of the gevuros that they're going to receive, and they remove themselves from the back of Zeranpin. So it comes out that these two things are really tied together. Because since the Nuk is now receiving all of the Shefa, Shefa Abur Echad only into one of her spheros. But that Shefa is pouring into it, it doesn't take time. Take up in the Naseres Sphera Mizah. So therefore, immediately after all that flow comes in, that particular sphera moves. The gevuros in that sphera completely and totally in the nuk, and as a result of that, that part separates itself from Zah. This is the Chochmah. So now we'll go over to the next part. Now we got one more. Kol osem ha-gevurah shebechetzer elya the zeranpin. So therefore, all of the gevuros that are in the upper half of zeranpin, miskabzim b'yom rishon, they gathered together on the first day of Shabbos of Rosh Hashanah. Betoch spheres a keser the nuk, inside the keser the nuk bilvad. Ve'enim ispashli because the spheres the nuk, they don't go anywhere else. They don't spread into the other spheres of the nuk. But the nesiira brak b'spheres a keser. So therefore, the nesiira is only taking place in keser. Now let me clear my voice a little bit here. So he's still that. So he said, let's read up here on number Mem Gimel. I'm going to have a little drink of water here. Let me just do 1 second. Okay, let's go to number Mem Gimel up at the top. It's a bebezerah b'tav in mashin is bar b'drash shekodem l'zeh. Now you can understand what we were talking about in the previous drush. Rosh Hashanah who rosh v'kesed the zer anpin. Rosh Hashanah is the head; it is the crown of zer anpin. Im hiyosh shekol hakadoshim hein b'nekeva. In this sense, that all of the rest of the months are like in the feminine, kenoida. Above b'bira davar who. So we have to see what he meant by that. He said, but the explanation of this is this. He said, so the only thing that actually moves and creates the nesiira is all of those dinim that are in the keter of the male. The sitam b'keser shabon, to bring them into her keter. Rosho from his head into her head. So he said the Rosha. Benimsiki so Rosh Hashanah, so it comes out the secret of Rosh Hashanah is this, who Rosh HaZachar, it is the head of the male, Begam who Rosh Nekeva, but at the same time, Rosh Hashanah is the head of the female. Zan Nosen, Vizera Mekabelis, one is the female male side gives, and the female side receives Vishnechem Emes, and the both of them are true. So let's see what he says over here and try to get into this a little bit deeper in the Teva Gavanos. And he says, Le'el, Nizbar Rosh Hashanah Shaykh Lemei HaChoref, that Rosh Hashanah really is on the male side of the year. Shehei B'Bechinas Zer Anpen. So remember he said that today, right now, where I'm standing on the 26th, the 22nd day of Elul, this is still the female part of the year. Now you could see that the male and the female components are coming together. He said, since it's the first month of the winter, it's considered to be the crown or the skull of Zer Anpin if we looked at Zer Anpin. Tishrei, and we started to think of Zer Anpin as 6 different sections and corresponding to the 6 months of the wintertime. So therefore Rosh Hashanah is really the aspect, I would say even the beginning, but the fact of the head, the crown of Zer Anpin. Besides Shani, but there's a second way of looking this. This bar Sham that the rest of the months, I think he means the rest of the months, are the aspects of female. So therefore we see that the Rosh Chodesh, the Rosh Hashanah B'chlalam, and Rosh Hashanah in general, Hema Rosh B'chinas Nuk, are also the Rosh, or the aspect of the Nuk, for the Chayra. So therefore, Yesh Kan Stira, Ha'im Rosh Hashanah Hu Rosh Shal Nuk, or Rosh Shal Zah. So what's the answer? So he said, Amnam the Fiyah Homor, according to then what we're saying here, he says, Ein stira bein ha'devarim. Ki achein Rosh Hashanah nechshav chen Rosh Shal Zah v'chen Rosh Shal Nuk. It's both. Shahare on the nesiira na'ases ha'yedech shachadinim yotzim betoch ha'keser d'zah, because the nesiira takes place, because the dinim come out of the crown of Zah, that is the top of the head of Zah, shuhu ha'rosh d'zah, v'niknasim betoch ha'keser d'nuk, shuhu ha'rosh d'nuk. So you're dealing with 2 Roshim. But Nimsa Shapa'ulas and nesiira Shuhu So Rosh Hashanah Nahasa B'Shtei Roshim Elul. It really happens with both of these 2. B'Shafer Nechshav Rosh Hashanah K'Bechinas Rosh Al Shtei Partzufim Elul. So therefore you have the meeting of these 2 Partzufim, and it's correct, it's proper. That Zer Anpin is like the Rosh of these 2 different aspects, that is the male and the female. B'Shafer Nechshav Rosh Hashanah K'Bechinas Rosh Al Shtei Partzufim Elul. Rosh Nosen Adinim, because the head of Zer Anpin is now giving over his dinim, which is a male aspect, the giving over. For Rosh Danuk Mekabelas Adinim, she receives the dinim and therefore becomes female in that sense. So that's the second shir for today. That's Baruch Ahmed the Tikkun Elevator Kolel, 22nd of Elul.